Shall we begin?
Welcome to the Savage MonsterCast. I'm your host, Scott Marchand Davis of Happy Monster Press.
Let's begin now.
On this week's podcast, we'll be kicking off our new Savage RIFTS campaign with character creation for a Glitter Boy, a Simbin Monster Rider, and an Elven Cyber Knight.
My name is Brendan. I will be playing Leviticus Overton, a quick flex glitter boy.
So, let's get started. Why did you pick a glitter boy?
When I was looking over all of the different characters that were available, one of the things that struck me about the glitter boy and about the description and about the way it was set up is that I kind of see the glitter boy as a cross between a paladin and sort of a downbeat version of Iron Man. You know, not necessarily Tony Stark when he was in the depths of alcoholism, but like, you know, when he's in kind of a depressive phase of a manic depressive. So, I mean, so you've got this nobility of purpose and you've got plenty of power to carry this nobility of purpose through in the world, but you are forever separated from the people that you're serving by the armor that you're wearing, right? So no matter where you are, whoever you're with, you're always going to be alone in a crowd. And there's always going to be a wall of technology between you and everyone else, except when you're out of your suit. But the problem is that when you're out of your suit, you're without the source of power and you're useless to anybody. And in fact, you're kind of a liability to the people around you. All right. So you're separated from the very thing that defines your existence. So on the one hand, if you want to contribute to this, you want to make the world a better place and you want to serve your people, you have to cut yourself off from the people that you're trying to serve. And I found that just to be a kind of a really interesting character to lead into.
Okay. And why did you pick a quick flex?
Is that, you know, when you're in the armor, you look like a glitter boy. I mean, nobody knows who you are, what you look like, you know, whatever. But when you come out of the armor, all of a sudden, all these people who have been seeing this 10 shining, shimmering, you know, armor-plated hero, now they're seeing this weird, creepy alien, and it's like a total opposite from you got the shimmering, shining tower versus the kind of, you know, ugly, creepy alien. I mean, that's a real weird dichotomy too. And that right there is another way that you would kind of be cut off from people. Whether you're in the armor or out, you're going to be isolated from the people that you're actually trying to be with. And so there's some sort of the pathos of the lonely hero.
First thing we're going to do is have you roll a d20 for your background. 15. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is an interesting one. Okay, so your background is nearly done for. Your character was nearly dead or staring down the barrel of an impossibly large gun or otherwise facing the end of his journey when the tide suddenly turned and his fat was pulled out of the fire. Someone from the Tomorrow Legion rescued him, which not only leaves him with a debt, but an interesting story to tell.
So, and this debt is to the person that saved me?
Or more generally to the Tomorrow Legion, whichever way you want to play it. So there are also, you get 5 rolls on what's called the Heroic Journey tables. 3 of them, you have a limited selection, and the other 2, you can pick anything you want, although certain choices aren't going to be as effective as others. The reason for doing these first is that sometimes you'll actually get things that you were going to buy with points otherwise.
Okay.
So, for example, you might end up with Two-Fisted for free rather than having to pay for it.
Sure. Okay.
So for 3 of them, you have to choose among, and you can do 3 on one or 2 on one and 1 on another, or 3 different ones, whichever you want to do. You have to choose among body armor, which basically gives you different body armor in addition to your glitter boy suit. I can't say that I would recommend that one particularly. Close combat weapon.
I was going to say the body armor, I mean, unless that's the kind of thing that I would want to rely on when I'm out of the suit. But I can't really see that would be terribly important.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It would be the thing you'd want to rely on out of the suit. So close combat weapons, there's the second one that you can choose from for your 3. So that's melee weapons, basically.
Right. I'm thinking that's definitely going to be one of them.
The third one you can choose from is cybernetics. So if you want to have some cyborg add-ons, you can pick that one.
Would the cyborg add-ons be any defense against the psionics? Because I'm feeling like that's one of my weaknesses.
It would
Okay.
not. The fourth one that you can choose from is ranged weapons, so that you could add on to or enhance your sidearm that you get in addition to your boom gun. And the last one is training, which basically can give you some additional skills or possibly some combat edges. So 3 of your 5 roles have to be on one of those tables. The other ones, education is basically more like academic skills. I wouldn't recommend enchanted items and mystic gadgets because you're not going to be very good at using them. Experience and wisdom is kind of interesting. That gives you some a little bit of different edges that are more associated with having been kicking around the world for a while. Magic and mysticism, again, probably not a good choice. Same thing with psionics. And then there's Underworld and Black Ops, which is more spy stuff that you might have been involved with and picked up some skills.
That doesn't really seem to go very well with the Glitter Boy ethos, though.
Not particularly, no. You could be a non-standard Glitter Boy, obviously.
This is true. All right. I'm thinking that of the first 3, I'm going to go with close combat, ranged weapon, and training. And then the other 2 would be we'll start with those 3.
Why don't you start with those 3, and then if you don't get something you like, you might want to roll again on one of them.
Good call. All right, let me start with close combat. 6.
Okay, that does apply. Congratulations, you've just acquired a Vibro Sword.
Nice. So now we're going to go for ranged weaponry. And I'll scroll down there.
You get any ranged weapon that you like.
Nice.
You already have, as part of your standard loadout, a Wilkes 227 Pulse Laser Pistol. So a good sort of general categories are grenade launchers.
Right. I'm liking grenade launcher because my idea was to be a bit of a kind of a mobile artillery platform.
So grenade launcher is definitely a good call on that one. So is rocket launcher. Alternatively, you have plasma weapons, which don't have quite the range of the automatic grenade launcher, but they're still pretty devastating, and damage-wise, they can be really bad. Then you have laser weapons and ion weapons, which kind of work like energy shotguns.
Rocket launchers are 5d6 on damage with really nice range.
There's also some special category weapons, which I'm just going to take a quick look at. The JA-11 energy rifle is kind of cool in that it can switch between standard laser, mega damage laser, and ion beam. And I'd suggest the TX-50 light railgun, except, of course, you've already got an even better railgun built in.
Right. Yeah, and what I'm looking for is something that will do kind of an area effect without going all the way up to the big gun that I'm always carrying with me.
So I'd go with the grenade launcher then, because the grenade launcher you can get various size bursts out of.
I'm not limited to just one style of grenade, right? I mean, I can do any one of I've got armor piercing, frag, high explosive, and plasma grenades. Okay. Right. So I'm thinking that since weight is not going to be an issue for me, I should be able to carry any of this thing. The automatic grenade launcher.
Sounds good. So I'll give you 40 grenades with that. Give you a full loadout initially.
10 of each.
So 10 of each.
That's good to start with.
All right. So that takes you to training for your last one.
Here comes a D20.
That actually fits. So that's one of the ones that's modified. But that's your techie.
Okay.
So with the Adventure Edition version of that, that's going to give you +1 on hacking and repair rolls.
Okay, so I'm pretty happy with a Vibro Sword, an auto grenade launcher, and the repair and hacking. So very nice. Okay, so let's go now to education. 7.
Student of the Past. This is also one that changed. So Student of the Past gets you Academics D8 and Common Knowledge D8. So you've got you're a bit of a history buff, it would seem. Okay. That's a couple of freebie skills, basically.
Okay. And so last one is going to be our experience and wisdom, which depending on what I roll, might actually go quite well with that. All right, here we go. 12, which is another +2 on top of common knowledge.
You're master of trivia.
God, this brings me back a little bit. So does that stack? So this is +2 of common knowledge.
Well, you've got the common knowledge. You got a D8 skill, which is quite good. This also gives you experience and wisdom, +2 on survival and networking checks.
Networking meaning computer networking, or hi, how do you do? My name is networking.
Hi, how do you do? My name is networking.
Okay.
Like working the streets. Good in
the streets and in the boardroom. That's pretty cool.
So I'm picturing kind of a shy academic thing going on here.
Yeah, or like, man, this is a little bit typecast here. A deep-seated introvert who can mimic the behavior of an extrovert very well. Trained.
There you go.
Sorry, trained to mimic the actions of the most successful extroverts.
Yep. So as a quick flex, you're an obvious DB when you're out of your armor, meaning you're an obvious alien. So that gives you a -4 on persuasion with people who are anti-alien. In addition to your -2 for being an outsider, you're also overconfident and you're distractible, which gives you a -1 on smarts. Overconfident basically means you think you can do anything.
Okay.
Delusional. What is your minor delusion? This could be, so this isn't a huge delusion. This is not like, you think that JFK was assassinated by aliens or something like that. This is more of a small scale delusion. Like, you think dogs can talk. That's one of the other examples in the book here. The government puts sedatives in soft drinks. We're all just characters in some bizarre role-playing game. It's not.
It's just like a minor thing that won't necessarily get me locked up for being a crazy.
Right. So, what would you like for your delusion?
What happens? Like, all the whatever good or bad happens. Like, it's like I'm somehow destined for greatness.
Okay, delusional destined for greatness. Fair enough. Okay, so that will bring us to attributes. So you have 5 points to spend on attributes, starting with a D4 and everything except agility, where you start with an 8. You can have 6 points if you want to use your extra points from hindrances to add on to that. And it's basically 1 point per die type. So my recommendation will be to boost smarts up to 6 or 8 as a starting point, just to make you more apt at picking up skills later on.
Yes. So I'm going to go smarts D8. You said, okay, so agility is already an 8.
Yep. Not that you couldn't raise it if you wanted to, but so that's 2 of your points, and you've got 3 more left to spend on whatever.
So my options are strength, spirit,
vigor, agility, and smarts.
So smarts is already high. Agility is already high. Strength I'm not going to worry about because I'm going to be in the armor.
Yeah, vigor and strength are going to be less important because you're in the armor. Not that you might not want them to be decent, but you don't need them to be enormously good.
Right. Let's leave strength at a D4. How many points do I have left? 2?
That leaves you with 3 if you leave strength at a D4.
So let's take vigor to a 6 and spirit to an 8. Does that work?
It does. So vigor 6, spirit 8, that uses up your points. Now you have 12 points for skills. What you start off with is academics 8, common knowledge 8, athletics 4, stealth 4, persuasion 4, notice 4. And what we talked about in the email, and as far as skills go, definitely fighting and shooting, and hacking, and probably repair, because I think you'll have room for that. Basically, any of those skills you've got 12 points. You could take all 3 of those to D8 if you wanted, but I would probably take athletics up as well, because that's going to make you more effective at moving in your armor.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
So you could do, say, athletics at a 6, fighting and shooting at an 8, or maybe fighting at an 8, shooting at 10, and hacking and repair each at like a 6. I think that works.
Yeah, I like that.
1 point for athletics, 3 points for fighting, 4 points for shooting, 2 each for hacking and repair. Yeah, that would work.
That's good, especially if I'm going to be start off combat shooting with the grenade launcher just to soften them up before everybody else moves in.
Yep. Okay. So in addition to your Glitter Boy suit, which is quite badass enough, and the other stuff you've just acquired, as I mentioned, you have a Wilkes 227 laser pistol as a sidearm. So you've got one smaller, more close range gun, if you will. And you also have an NGS2 survival pack, which contains a whole lot of useful stuff. Basically, you've got like a tent, sleeping bag, flashlight, map, GPS system, short range radio, first aid kit, hunting and fishing kit, saw wires, fire starters, survival knife, signal flares, climbing kit, soap, canteen, and 2 weeks of rations. Now I would like you to give me a 4d6 roll.
Here it comes.
Okay, you also have 1,400 credits in your account. 1,400 credits is not a lot. That's more like walking around money. Rough comparison, it's about $140. So one important concept for rifts is mega damage. If you have mega damage armor, then you can't be damaged by anything that is not a mega damage weapon. So for example, since when you are in your suit, you are utterly impervious to somebody shooting at you with a laser pistol you're carrying, which is pretty slick. On the other hand, there's a lot of stuff that does mega damage, including, for example, your vibro sword.
So I'll be trying to be careful not to cut myself. And if I'm going up against somebody with a vibro sword, I'll get my licks in first.
All right. So just to run through the edges that you got for free, you have ambidextrous and two-fisted, which means you can attack with each hand with no penalty each round. You have elusive, which increases your parry by 1. So you have a very respectable parry of 7.
Nice.
Your toughness out of armor is okay. It's 5. When you are wearing your armor, however, that goes up to 11.
I turned it to 11.
That's just your toughness, though. If you add your armor on top of that, it becomes 29.
Oh my gosh. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see.
You're very hard to damage. You're also a really good target. So anyone shooting at you gets a +2 because you're so big. You're roughly 10 to 12 feet tall in armor.
Yeah, but I mean, most of what they're going to be shooting at me with is not going to do much damage. So I feel okay.
A couple other bonuses. When you're in your armor, you have a pace of 10. Lasers do half damage, even if they are mega damage. You have full life support. Air, water, you're immune to poisons, chemical attacks, radiation, all that good stuff. You have a full electronics suite, including a 20-mile range radio, sensors, radar, night vision, and a targeting system.
Cool. I'll have to remember the radar.
You are also big and shiny, so you have a -8 to stealth when you're in your armor.
Is there any opportunity for me to actually, even as I asked the question, I was about to ask, is there any opportunity for me to paint the armor or cover it up? But that's not really in keeping with the Glitter Boy ethos. I mean, the whole idea is that we are glittering, shining beacons here, beacons of rectitude.
Right. A couple other notes on your boom gun. You can't move and shoot the boom gun in the same round. It's
one round to set it up, one round to fire it, and then one round to take it down, right? Okay.
Right. Or you can fire it without digging in, but you fly back 2d6 inches and become shaken.
Okay. Well, in a pinch, that might be something I might need to do.
So here's the other catch. Anybody within a large burst template of you when you fire it, who's not in fully enclosed armor, has to make a vigor check at -2. If they fail, they are hard of hearing for 3d6 rounds and shaken. If they critical fail, they're actually incapacitated by the sound of your gun going off.
I'm going to have to keep that in mind then when we arrange ourselves during combat to keep a line open so that if I'm going to shoot this, I might need to like dash away off to the side out of range of everybody else. Okay.
Probably a good plan, yeah.
Hi, my name is Frankie. I'm playing Kuva, a Simvin Burster.
Why did you choose a Burster?
I've always been fond of the Pyromaniac flame-using wizard classes.
Excellent. And why did you choose a Simvin?
I liked his... I don't know. I thought he made a good fit for the class that I was using. He seemed to come with a natural bonus to psionics, and I liked that he was kind of tribal and could use a mount, and he had a pretty cool looking spear.
Perfect. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is roll a d20, and that's going to be for your background. Yeah, how did you get to the Tomorrow Legion? So your background is the Siege of Tolkien. And this is like a big world-changing event that happened just before the campaign starts. Tolkien was a magical city, and it was located north of the Coalition, which is definitely not an organization that's a big fan of magic.
Right.
And so they laid siege to it, and there was a war that lasted for several years. The end result was the Coalition took a ton of damage, but they eventually were able to take down Tolkien. And as a result, there were a ton of refugees that kicked out of Tolkien. And there wasn't necessarily a straightforward good guys, bad guys here, because the Tolkien guys, they started throwing demons at the Coalition and doing all kinds of really dark magic. So it was really kind of ugly on both sides towards the end. So the question for you to think about in your background is going to be, okay, you were involved in that somehow. Which side were you on? Given your background, probably not the Coalition. Did you stick with them through all the bad stuff, or did you opt out partway through in order to step away from some of this really bad stuff that was happening?
Okay.
So you don't have to answer that right now, but that's going to be your background.
Okay.
And fortunately, you've got a super cool hippogriff to ride away on.
Yeah, that's exciting. Will it have any like offensive capabilities? Can it claw or anything along those lines?
It does, in fact, have offensive capabilities.
Fantastic.
More specifically, just looking at it, because I put it on your character sheet already.
Okay.
As your hippogriff pal. Do you want to give it a name?
I'll name it Griff.
Griff, the hippogriff. Okay, Griff can bite and claw it can do each once per round for a strength plus d6 damage, and its strength is d12 plus 2, so it's pretty respectable damage.
Ooh, nice. Very nice.
Okay, so next up, you get to roll for some special benefits, and you have some choices to make here.
Okay.
You get 4 rolls on the hero's journey. 3 of them, you have only 2 choices to pick from: the experience and wisdom table or the psionics table. Experience and wisdom is kind of things that have happened to you as you've been kicking around the world. Right. And psionics obviously gives you some boosts to your mental powers. So you've got 3 rolls. You can split them any way you want between those 2. You can have them all in experience and wisdom, all in psionics, 2 in 1, however you want to do it.
Okay. All right. Am I going to know whether they're good or bad when I roll them, or
they're all good?
Okay.
They're all good. So there's nothing bad on the list. It's just a question of which good thing do you get. So it's not one. There's no trap here. Definitely. It's whatever you get, it's going to be good. It's just a question of which good thing you get.
Okay. All right.
So which table do you want to try first?
Why don't I try first the experience table?
Okay. Experience and wisdom. Give me a d20.
Okay. 18.
18. Okay. So 18 on the experience and wisdom table will get you, you get a free wildcard edge.
Ooh, very nice.
So those are edges that only wildcards can take.
Okay.
So let's just run down what your options are there.
Okay.
So in Core Savage Worlds, you've got several different edges you can take here. The pure wildcard ones are Mighty Blow. You can double your fighting damage when dealt a Joker. Power Surge. You can get 10 power points back when you're dealt a Joker. Common Bond, where you can give your bennies to other people.
It's not bad.
So those are the options for a free wildcard edge.
I'll take Power Surge.
That seems like the sensible one to go with.
Yeah.
All right, we'll throw that on there. That's a very handy edge.
Yeah.
Okay, what table would you like for your second one?
The second one, I'll go ahead and do the abilities option.
Psionics?
Yeah, psionics.
All right, roll it.
Okay. 14.
All right. You get the Mentalist edge.
Ooh, what does that do again?
That basically makes it easier for you to overpower other people. When you have an opposed psionics roll, you get a +2 to it.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
All All right, so you got one more roll on these tables. You want to go for experience and wisdom again, or psionics again?
I'm gonna go for broke and go for psionics again.
All right, roll it.
Okay. 7.
Okay, with a 7, this is an interesting one. You can tell if people are lying. You have an empathic sense that allows you to detect people's emotions around you. So within smarts range, you actually can detect what people are feeling, and therefore likely whether they're lying to you or not.
Okay. Is this going to be written on my character sheet, by the way, or should
it absolutely is?
Okay. Great,
yep,
great.
I'm doing that as we speak.
Fantastic. Ooh, that is really interesting. That should make for a very flavorful campaign.
Yeah. So let's see. The specific mechanics are make an opposed spirit check on anyone within smarts range to detect how they're feeling. If you get a raise, you can tell they're lying.
Okay.
Now you get one free roll, so you can roll on any table you want. Although there's some that don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Okay.
So the complete list of tables, body armor, which is an interesting option because you don't actually have any. Close combat weapons. So if you want to have a melee weapon, that's where you get that. And you don't start with a melee weapon either. Given your character concept, that might be a really good choice.
I was thinking about it. When it comes to melee weapons, I don't know if I want to use a sword. It depends on like what my options are. I know in D&D they have like hands of fire type of thing. Can I do like fire palm type of strikes? Is that a thing that I can do? You
could absolutely do that.
Okay.
What you do then is you'd want to take the martial artist edge so you could fight unarmed effectively.
Okay. And then would I do like extra damage depending on if like I light my hands on fire or activate my psionics to do that? Is there like an edge I would take or something?
It's automatic that if you have your fire aura on, you're doing extra damage from fire, whatever your close combat weapon you're hitting with, or if anybody hits for that matter.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'll take. Actually, no, I will. I will take a melee weapon because.
Okay. Well, I can run down the rest of the list, see if something grabs you more.
Yeah.
There's education, which is more formal education. Enchanted items and mystic gadgets, where you can get things you can power with your psionics. Magic and mysticism, probably not a great choice for you. Ranged weapons, if you want to upgrade from your laser pistol, but your firebolt's a pretty effective ranged weapon.
Oh, I'm good on that.
Training, this is some kind of education that's useful to you, and then Underworld and Black Ops.
Oh, I'm not really interested in any of those. So I guess the melee weapon out of all those would be
the close combat weapons table. So make a D20 roll.
Okay. Both.
That's a fun one.
Oh my.
You've acquired an impact hammer.
Wow.
It does strength plus 2d6 mega damage and adds a d10 on a raise.
Oh, wow. Explodey hammer is what it's going to be.
Yep. All right. So those are your rolls. So let's get into your hindrances. For enemy, the coalition is kind of automatic. So if you want a major enemy, my thought was maybe actually have it be the Federation of Magic instead.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've got enemies on both sides.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I plan to be kind of cloaked most of the time, keeping myself kind of concealed. So no, that's perfect.
Okay, so hindrances. We got major enemy, the feds, and then can also take you've got the quirk one automatically that just comes with that you're slightly pyro.
Yeah.
So you can take 2 minors if you want to pick up some additional points.
Like I said, I wanted to take wanted.
Yep, wanted minor would definitely make sense. You got into some trouble.
Right. Due to my background.
And what was the other minor one?
I can't remember.
You had quirk on there, but you have to take that one, so it doesn't buy you anything. I think I only picked
one. Yeah.
So let's see. Look at some minor hindrances here. I don't think RIFTS has a whole lot.
Looking at the core book too as well.
Mania. So you have some kind of serious mental illness. So let's look at the core book. All thumbs, you're terrible with mechanical stuff.
Let's do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be very primitive. It's going to be like
sense.
sorcery, and sorcery is going to be like the most technical I get is magic.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So let's start with attributes then. You've got 5 points for attributes. You can use one or both of your points from hindrances for attributes as well if you want to do that. So for combat, you're probably going to want to have agility and strength pretty high. For psionics, you want to.
I want spirit. Yeah, spirit and smarts. I'm not going to rely heavily on combat this game, so I want to keep everything basically even for my character, and then I'll have spirit and smarts. If I depend on one more than the other, then I'd like that to be the higher stat.
Okay. Well, psionics is a smarts based, so maybe we take that up one, and that still leaves you with the opportunity to buy another edge.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so then edges. Did you want to take martial artist, or do you want to try something different? There's some edges that come with burster that are kind of interesting.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's do that. I start with any psionics, or
yeah, we'll get to those too.
Okay. I'm only gonna get melee if I have to. Otherwise, I'm just going to be shooting fireballs all over the place.
Okay, so here's an interesting one. You'd have to take notice D6, but that's not a bad thing. It's called Read the Flame. You can look at a fire or the site of a fire, and you can tell when it started, how long it's been burning, and with a raise, what kind of being started the fire, and any other interesting details that I decide to share with you.
That's not bad.
Another option would be to take new power, so you'd start with 5 powers instead of 3.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one a lot. Yeah, let's do
power.
That one. Yeah. I know I inherently will have some sort of intuition when it comes to fire anyway, from reading my characters from the burster. So I'll wait on the kindling, and I'll stick with this new power ability.
Okay, so you've got 12 skill points to work with. You get certain skills for free at a D4, specifically notice, persuasion, common knowledge, stealth, and athletics. And you start, because you're a Simban, with a D6 in riding. And because you're a burster, you start with a D8 in psionics.
Fantastic. I'm going to want fighting at least to be at a D4.
Just so you're not completely helpless. Okay, that's 1 point out of your 12, so you're down to 11 points for skills.
You said I had notice already, right?
You have notice at D4, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Survival, do I have that or no?
You do not.
Can I get that?
That's a very sensible one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes you down to 10.
Okay.
If you want to ratchet up your psionics to D10, would cost 2 points, but it might be worth it.
Let me do that.
Okay, so that takes you down to 8 points.
You get tracking at a D4?
Tracking is actually in survival now, so do you want to jack that up to a D6?
Yeah, let me put that up to a D6.
Okay, that takes you down to 7 points now for skills.
Maybe at a D6 for fighting 2, is my agility a D6?
Yeah, so you could go up to fighting 6.
Okay.
And that would take you down to 6 points.
It's my riding.
D6.
Okay,
It would be 2 points to take that up one. Remember, though, that for fighting purposes, if you're riding, it's going to be the lower of your psionics and your riding. So it might be worth the 2 points to take that up to D8.
Yeah, I might do that. All these points are just going into skills, and they can't go anything else, right?
Right.
Okay. Let me first bring my notice up. I want that to go up one more, just to get
notice
prepared
D6
for that
5 points.
That skill that I'll get later on down the line.
So piloting wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's just look here.
As far as knowledge, is there any like lore around like my character as far as his, I don't know, tribal like setting? Like I'd have knowledge in like as far as like the landscape or like I don't know.
That would be
like,
common knowledge. You could take that up to a 6.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. And then that one skill you suggested earlier that I bring up to a 6, the writing. If I
actually up to an 8. Okay, that leaves you at 2
yeah.
points. Let's just look over the skills real quick, see if there's something else that would make sense. Possibly healing, or possibly like intimidation.
Yeah, let's do intimidation. I'll do a D4. Yeah, because I don't have it
Okay,
yet.
that leaves you with 1 point. You could take your common knowledge up to 8 if you really want to be very savvy. You could take stealth, persuasion, or athletics up to 6.
Stealth. I'll take stealth.
Okay, done. Skills are out.
Fantastic.
That leaves you with your powers. So the burster powers are limited. You don't get every possible power in the game. but you get quite a few to choose from, and they're all fire trapped. So your choices are armor, barrier, blind, boost lower trait, burst, dark sight, deflection, detect, conceal, arcana, farsight, fly, light, obscure, smite, stun, telekinesis, and telepathy. And then some of those are higher level, so you wouldn't be able to take them as a novice anyway. So let's just take a look at the ones that are available to novices. Armor/protection definitely is available to novices. Barrier is not. Blind is. Burst is, which is basically.
I'll take burst for sure, and blind as well for sure.
Okay, so let's put those two in, and you get one more.
What are the other ones I can take?
Okay, so other novice level powers that you can take next on the list are dark sight. Dark sight's definitely on the list. Deflection is definitely on the list. Detect, conceal, arcana is definitely on the list. Light, obscure is definitely on the list. Smite and stun are both on the list. Stun's pretty cool in this version.
Does it do something outside of what the core book says?
It's the new core book. So in Adventure Edition, it stuns the character, which is actually worse than shaking them. And you can add power points to make it an AoE.
Ooh. Okay. What was the very first skill I had an option to take? Armor?
Which is now called protection, but yeah. Basically adds armor.
Has that changed from what it is now? What it is in the core book?
It's still +2 or +4. You can add it to other people. You can also add power points to make the armor stronger or make it toughness.
Okay. All right. That's not bad. I'll take stun.
All right. Stun it is. Okay. So the last thing is gear. You get certain things for free, but you also get some cash, which usually isn't enough to buy you anything useful. But give me a 4d6, please.
Sure. 2, 3, 4.
Okay. So that is a total of 1,600 credits.
Okay.
Which doesn't buy you a whole lot, but it's something you can live off it for a little while anyway. So you get free of charge as a burster, an NG-33 laser pistol, and an NG-S2 survival pack, which has all kinds of good stuff: tents, ropes, climbing gear, rations, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
Hi, my name is Jung Soo, and I will be playing an elf cyber knight named Minbi.
All right, cool. So welcome.
Thank you. Now, I have to admit, I'm in the middle of baking lemon bars for the teacher's lunch tomorrow, so I have not been responsible about looking over the various suggestions that you made for me to consider, except that I don't want to be a cyber dog, for sure.
Man, no cyber dog?
No, I think not. Yeah, that's just the way it's going to be.
Okay, well, I guess dog girl is out then.
Yeah.
I'll have an NPC dog girl. It's all good.
Okay.
So of the various races, then there's still quite a few to choose from, even when you throw out the dog boy.
Right.
The blind Altaran warrior women are kind of a classic Rifts race.
And what would be so special about that?
Well, they're very attractive. They're genetically superior, but they're also bred as a slave race of the Splugorth, an evil alien race that controls what we would think of as Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of brainwashed, so they don't necessarily do a great job on smarts rolls.
Mm-hmm.
But they have superior senses. Even though they're blind, they have natural radar. It's kind of a daredevil thing.
Right. Okay. Is there, I guess as far as gameplay, if I'm sort of brainwashed, but I have this sense of, I don't know, paladin-ish-ness, like, do I choose like a kind of a mental weakness or a character flaw that it is particular to that race?
You could. There are a bunch that come with that race.
I see.
The brainwashed part is called instilled ignorance.
Oh, okay.
On the other hand, you could also go with one of the more classic races that come in the main book. So you could go elf, for example.
Right.
Dwarf, conceivably, if you wanted to go that route, although elf probably works better.
Yeah, I think elf makes more sense. Let's just do elf.
Elf it is.
Okay.
So that gets you a free D6 in agility.
Woohoo!
It gets you the all thumbs hindrance.
all thumbs.
Yeah, you're not real good with technology. That's not really your thing.
Okay.
That actually fits well with a Cyber Knight because one of their abilities is they're very difficult to hit with technological attacks. They have this cyberkinetic combat where they can sense incoming attacks and dodge or block them.
Uh-huh.
And you get low light vision because, elves.
Right. Okay. Then do I need to choose any other, particular quirks or?
You absolutely do. But before we do that, the first thing to do is to roll on the hero's journey tables, which is why you're in roll 20, so we can actually get some D20s going. So as a Cyber Knight, you actually get 5 rolls on the hero's journey.
On D20s?
Yes, and each of those will get you some cool benefit.
Uh-oh. Okay.
No, it's not an uh-oh. This is an awesome. So 3 of them you have to choose from 4 options. So you can do 1 on each of 3, or you can do all 3 on 1, whichever mix you want. Those 3 options are education, which is basically your book learning.
Mm-hmm.
Experience and wisdom, which is your Rhodes Scholar.
Right.
Psionics, which just makes you more powerful with your psychic powers.
Right.
And training, which is specialized training, often combat oriented.
Okay.
But before we do that, we're also going to roll for your background. So give me a D20 for that, and we'll give you a little seed for how you ended up with the Tomorrow Legion.
Okay.
Okay, blood is thicker. So you ended up working with the Tomorrow Legion because of a family connection, which could be you had a family member in the Tomorrow Legion, or it could be that you lost a family member and that's what brought you there.
Okay.
All right, so of your choices then, education, experience and wisdom, psionics, and training, what would you like to try first?
Let's try psionics.
Okay, give me another D20. Interesting. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you have, when you pick your psionic powers, you can choose one of them. And whenever you activate it, you automatically get the raise effect.
Oh, okay.
So it's second nature to you. So for example, if you pick the deflection power, which is a really good one for a Cyber Knight because it makes you even harder to hit, you automatically get the -4 instead of the -2 anytime you succeed.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. All right. What's your second roll going to be?
Let's do education.
Okay, roll it.
Ooh.
Lucky 7.
Okay.
Okay,
There's
you
something.
are a student of the past.
Oh, how appropriate.
You get a D8 in academics.
Okay.
So you're something of a historian.
Right.
And you also get a +2 on common knowledge rolls.
Okay, cool.
So that might be a skill you could consider boosting.
Let's do training.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah.
If it's like most tables, which it is, you can choose which training one you want.
Oh.
So let me run down your options here.
Okay.
You can get 5 extra skill points, which can only be used on fighting, shooting, or athletics.
Okay.
You can get the martial artist and brawler edges for free.
Ooh.
You can get a free professional edge. You can have the woodsman edge and a D8, D4 in survival.
A D8 in survival?
A D6 in survival.
Okay.
You can get a bonus in repair, which makes no sense for you, so you should probably skip that one. A D6 in athletics and a set of climbing gear because you were a mountaineer.
Okay.
The dirty fighter edge and +1 to parry.
Dirty fighter? Is that
Yes.
appropriate for a Cyber Knight?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Any combat edge of your choice, ignoring all requirements.
Okay.
Also pretty slick.
Yeah.
Or the ace edge and 1 die type in boating, driving, or piloting. So I'm thinking either the skills, the martial artist one, or the combat edge of your choice. As what that means is you can take combat edges that would not normally be available to a novice.
Uh-huh.
You can take, if it's a veteran level, you ignore all requirements for that.
Wow. Okay.
The only thing you can't take is something that's like an improved of something else. So you can't take improved dodge, but you could take, say, first strike, which that's an easy one. You can take that one at first level,
right, as
a novice, but you can't take counterattack as a novice. And you could take that as a free edge, or you could just get a whole lot of skills.
So if I get counter strike, does that mean anytime I'm attacked, I get 1 free attack?
Once per round, anytime someone misses you, you can hit them back with off your turn. But there's a lot
I can take 5 skill points to any number of other skills, fighting, etc.
Well, they have to be fighting, shooting, or athletics. So let me ask this. So as a Cyber Knight, you're going to be wielding your Psi sword. Are you
Right.
thinking like a two-fisted sai sword where you're going to be wielding one in each hand, or are you
Yeah,
thinking?
that's what I would. Well, I saw that, so yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Okay, so a fun one for you then might be Frenzy, which lets you that would allow you to attack 3 times per round.
Okay, and that would be a skill.
That would be an
skill?
edge.
Edge. Okay.
No, this is
Let's do that. That sounds like a fun edge.
That is a fun edge, and
Okay.
you can, as you get up in level, you can take Improved Frenzy, which lets you do it even more often.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right, so that's 3 of your rolls. Now you get 2 more that you can roll on any table you want. So you could use the ones you already had, or there are several others that you can choose from. You can choose Body Armor, which could upgrade your starting Cyber Knight armor.
Mm-hmm.
You could choose Close Combat Weapons if you want to have something in addition to your Sai Sword, but that might not be the optimum choice.
Yeah.
You can choose Enchanted Items and Mystic Gadgets. So you could have some sort of magic item right out of the gate. You could choose Ranged Weapons if you want to have something in addition to the laser rifle and laser pistol you start with. Or if you want to be a sneakier sort of Cyber Knight, you could choose Underworld and Black Ops. And you get 2 rolls on any of those or any of the ones you already had access to. So Education, Experience and Wisdom, Psionics, and Training.
I sort of want to try to play this a little straight. So I think the Black Ops, I'm out.
Okay.
And I think I'm so used to playing a character whose specialty is ranged weapons. I want to try the a melee character this time around. So we're out for the extra ranged weapons. How about the magical items?
Absolutely, roll it. That one you get to re-roll because it's not applicable to a Cyber Knight. There you go. In addition to your Sai Sword, if you'd prefer to hit with something else, you also have a Flaming Sword.
A flaming sword. Nice. My husband is smiling. Yeah, I'll take a flaming sword, sure.
All right. And we will add that on to your arsenal.
Okay.
All right. So one last roll. Well, first you got to pick which table. I'll take the 9, but you need to pick a table.
What's left?
You could go back to Psionics. You could pick up, basically you could go back to one of the other ones you already have, or you could try to upgrade your armor.
Let's check my armor.
Okay. So your armor has +1 toughness.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Okay, so that's your rolls.
Right.
Okay, so +1 toughness on your armor makes it +2 toughness. So it'll be a total of +8 for your Cyber Knight medium armor.
Nice.
For your Cyber Knight medium armor, you have to pick one thing, which is it can have one of 2 powers.
Okay.
It can either have the healing power built in, which is kind of handy because if you choose the healing power, it only works on you.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But if you choose the healing power for the suit, you can use it on other people too.
Oh, okay.
Or the succor power, which is now called relief, and that removes fatigue levels and shaken
healing.
And stun.
I'll take healing.
Yeah, that's the more usual choice for the armor.
Especially if I want to try to do melee. I think that would be useful.
So in addition to your awesome armor, which also makes you faster and lets you jump longer and gives you full environmental protection, so you can go underwater, in space, etc. You also have a Wilkes 320 laser pistol and an NG L5 laser rifle to back up your Sai Sword and Flaming Sword.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so now hindrances. So what do you want? What do you want your quirks or hindrances to be? What kinds of things? If you want to play it straight, some things like heroic might be a good one.
What does that? How would you play that out as a hindrance?
So heroic as a hindrance basically means that if there's somebody in need, you're going to help them.
Yeah, that sounds like what I was thinking of anyway. That I might have a propensity for one, downtrodden group in particular, but
So that absolutely works.
Okay.
So that gives you a major. You can also take 2 minor ones.
Okay.
Just looking down here, things that would sort of fit. Certainly greedy doesn't really make sense. Hesitant is an interesting one where you actually act slower. I don't think that really fits though.
No, not if I want fleet of foot.
Loyal is also a good one where you will jump in front. That one is specific to your friends where you will always protect your friends in times of danger.
That sounds like this character, so let's take loyal.
And let's see if there's another goody two-shoes one I can come up with for you. You
have
could
to admit,
do.
I remember being kind of annoyed at Meg for a while there.
You could go for a pacifist, a minor pacifist, where you won't start a fight.
Oh, except if somebody's threatening my friends or family or whatever.
Well, you'll only fight when you're given no other choice, and you'll never kill the defenseless.
I think I'm going to pass on that one.
Another option would be poverty.
Poverty.
You can't really hang on to money. That's a very paladin-y thing.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do poverty.
Okay. So that gives you 2 points that you can spend on attributes or on more skills or on additional edges. As far as edges go, one that I would recommend if you're going to be a two-sword fighter is ambidextrous.
Oh, right. We talked about that. Yeah, let's do that.
You could also pick up two-fisted if you want, which would give you an attack in each hand with each round. That would use up all your hindrance points, but it still might be a good bet.
I was thinking either that or charisma.
You actually have some built-in charisma as a cyber knight.
Okay.
People respect cyber knights, so except in very rare cases, you get an automatic +2 to persuasion.
Right. I saw that. All right, let's do the two-fisted then.
All right. This reminds me of the build that I use in the play-by-post. Okay, so skills. You have 12 points to choose from.
Okay.
You already have a D8 in fighting, a D8 in academics, a D6 in psionics, and D4s in athletics, stealth, notice, persuasion, and common knowledge. Actually, before we do skills, we should do attributes. So you have a D6 in agility, and you have 5 points to spend on everything else.
A D6 in agility and 5 points to spend on everything else.
Yeah, the trick with cyber knights is they really are kind of balanced, where you don't necessarily have an obvious first choice. So one way to do it would be to throw a D6 on everything and then pick one thing to be better at.
Okay. Is that what you would recommend?
That's probably what I'd recommend. And as far as what to be better at, probably either agility or smarts. That'll make your skill points more efficient. And agility helps you with fighting. Smarts helps you with psionics. You have a D6 in everything right now, but you've got 1 point left. So you could have a D8 in agility or a D8 in smarts or a D8 in strength, D8 in vigor, D8 in spirit.
Let's do the D8 in smarts.
Okay. All right. So now you have 12 skill points to spend. You probably should pick up at least some shooting, even though it's not going to be your main focus. So the enemy doesn't always conveniently show up in your range.
Okay.
Beyond that, though, it's kind of wide open as to what you want to be good at.
Is there anything that would help with psionics?
The psionics skill, you could definitely boost that.
Okay.
1 point would get you a D8. 3 points would get you a D10. 5 points would get you a D12.
Wow. Okay.
You've got 11 points to work with right now.
Okay. Let's burn 3 and get a D10 in psionics.
Okay.
And then what? Let's see. Do I want to focus on the sword fighting or the hand-to-hand combat?
Either way, it's fighting. So 2 points get you a D10, 4 points get you a D12. You have 8 left.
Let's do 4 and be really good at fighting.
Sounds good. Now you got 4 points left. Athletics and or notice might be good, or persuasion.
Let's do persuasion. 1 point for D8.
3 points for a D8, 1 point for a D6.
That would leave me with 1 point left.
If you went to
how
D8,
about for athletics? What would
one for a D6 and 3 for a D8 there as well.
All right, let's do 1 for athletics and get the D6 and 3 for a D8 in persuasion.
Done and done.
Okay.
That just leaves you with your powers and your money. So you get 3 powers to start.
Okay.
It is not an infinite list, and there are certain powers that are extra special. Oh. The extra special powers can be used as a free action, but only on yourself.
Okay.
So, and that's a restriction regardless. You can only ever use those powers on yourself. You can't use them on anyone else.
Okay. So stuff like healing or...
Yep. Boost trait. So that lets you boost a skill or an attribute.
Okay.
Deflection, which we mentioned. Healing, smite, always good, and speed.
Oh, you know what? I was thinking speed when I read through the character description.
We can definitely do speed as one of your powers.
Yeah.
Other powers which are not a free action are armor, bolt, confusion, dark sight, environmental protection, havoc, quickness, although that's a season, so you can't get it yet, speak language, succor, and warrior's gift, which lets you add edges.
Ooh, let's take Warrior's Gift.
And then if you want to be really hard to hit, I would recommend Deflection.
That sounds good.
And then one of these, you automatically get a raise whenever you use it. So with Deflection, the automatic raise means that you are at -4 to be hit.
Ooh, okay.
In addition to the -2 for any technological attack. So you're going to be really hard to hit with a laser gun.
Nice.
Even if you have no cover and are just standing there in the middle of a field, you're at with your deflection active, you're at -6.
Okay, let's take the raise on deflection then.
Okay, done.
Okay.
So the last thing is your money.
Yeah, with poverty, I don't know how much I'm going to have.
You still get to roll. It just gets cut in half, and then whatever you have, you lose half every adventure.
Oh. Okay, what am I rolling here?
You're rolling 2d6.
Okay. Ooh.
Sadly, the money rolls don't explode.
Okay.
And one more. Okay, so you have 550 credits, which is enough to keep you alive for a short period of time.
Okay, I got to learn to fast and sleep outside.
You also, as part of your equipment, have an NGS2 survival pack, which has, among other things, 2 weeks of rations, a tent, climbing gear, various sorts of survival equipment.
Okay.
A silver cross, because vampires.
Oh, right.
And 6 wooden stakes, because vampires. Right.
Didn't realize they were quite so prevalent, but okay.
They're actually most common down in Mexico.
Okay.
But they do pop up occasionally elsewhere.
All righty then.
The Rift setting, the Megaverse, and associated characters and locations are the property of Palladium Books. Savage Worlds is the property of Pinnacle Entertainment. All other content is the property of Happy Monster Press. Find us at www.happymonsterpress.com or as Happy Monster Press on Twitter, Facebook, MeWe, and Pashpost. Theme music, Jason Shaw's Ice Cold.
Oh, for sure.